Welcome to Be the Art. So I invite you all to take a deep breath, to land into your body, landing into the space. You're welcome to turn on your video if you're here live with me. I'd love to see your beautiful faces. Hello, hello, hello. And if you're catching the replay, just taking a moment to drop in to the space, to your body. You're invited to close your eyes if that feels good for you. Tuning to the sounds, tuning in, feeling the sensation of your thighs on your seat, noticing any smells, really grounding into the present moment. Drawing your breath down, 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 deep into your womb space. We want to feel anchored today. We want to drop in. So also connecting your feet to the earth, feeling how held and supported you are. And noticing how you feel right now. Noticing any sensations arising. And just being with it, welcoming all of you, however you're feeling today. I'm feeling very excited to be here with all of you. And I want you to take a moment. You just landed in a series called Be the Art. And for many, art is a luxury. But you being here today is claiming that art is a priority, that you are a priority. And that's huge. So I just want you to let that land into your body. Take a moment to celebrate yourself, to honor yourself. And tuning in to what brought you here today. And when you're ready, you can flicker your eyes open. And I invite you to take a moment before we start, before we drop in, to notice your space. And to notice anywhere that your eyes are drawn, something that catches your eye, something you find beautiful. And taking a moment to notice it, to breathe it in, to be with it. Noticing how your body softens when you notice beauty, when you take the time to slow down. And this is the power of art. So with that, welcome to this space. Welcome to Be the Art, this 3-day series to dissolve the rigidity, enliven the spark, and birth essentially alive feminine identity, yearning to be expressed through you. So those are here live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You already know me. My name is Sabrina. Let me stop presenting. My name is Sabrina, and for those of you that don't know me that are catching the replay, we actually have a lot of new people in this space. We had about 50 people sign up for today, so a lot of them are just joining for the first time, so welcome. My name is Sabrina. I'm the woman behind Gravity Rose, a somatic facilitator, feminine embodiment guide, pole dancer, poetess, and I'm also obsessed with nourishment, holistic health, wellness, artistry, and I believe that we really liberate ourselves through the body. And so women come to me when they're ready to stop hiding, when they want to dissolve the protection mechanisms and really step out into the world and be who they're meant to be, right? Embody that feminine artistry. And today, in this series, we're going to be exploring what Be the Art means. I'm so excited to hear what that means to you and why you're here today. We're going to go into that and really understand what it means to show up in your full liberated feminine expression. And we're going to explore what's holding you back in that, and so that you could really be that woman who is seen, who is recognized as the deep, powerful, iconic woman and masterpiece that you are. So my intention in this journey is to really crack you open to your inner muse, your artistry, understanding that what that is and expressing the full range woman that maybe you've been keeping a little bit caged within you. All right. So I also want to mention that today is really special and I'm really, really grateful about this because I've been listening to my own inner feminine. That's really the work that I do, is helping you connect to that inner wisdom and trusting it to guide you. And mine has been guiding me off of Instagram, right? To really reclaim my energy. And, you know, I've been on that platform from my lingerie business to my coaching and business for since 2014. I've been showing up almost every single day, and I've been hearing this message that it's like it's just not supportive anymore in the way, honestly, the way that I describe it is it feels a little bit like an abusive relationship. It feels like a one-sided toxic relationship, and I'm like tired of putting so much energy in it. And I realized I was like, I have so much to give and so much to offer, and I want to take the energy I've been putting it there and offer it back into spaces like this, these kinds of experiences where we can engage, we can see each other, we can connect, and I can offer what I'm here to offer in a deeper way. And that's what I've been doing in the mailing list, and it's been so incredible, the response. Like, I get people writing back to me from the mailing list that I send, which is like, you know, not that common. And then for, you know, about maybe 150 people open the emails, to have 50 people sign up is just like, that's the magic of the feminine when you really listen to your intuition. So I want to just celebrate all of you for feeling that, saying yes, joining me on this journey, this new adventure, this new experiment of like, what happens when we take our energy away from Instagram and really trust ourselves and find new ways to bring our artistry forward and bring our service forward to the people that really want it. So this is special because of that, and there's a lot that's been brewing behind the scenes. I will have a special new offer that I'll be announcing at the end, a new space that was really birthed from this as well, this realization and this trust. So it's very exciting, and I'm happy to have you all here. So before diving in to everything we're going to be doing today, I'd love to know what drew you here. And what does Be the Art mean to you? So you can share in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, just journaling about it, really tuning in, taking a moment. I'll play a little bit of music. I'll give you 30 seconds to really tune into your body. What does Be the Art mean to you? Why are you here today? I didn't talk about it that much, you know? And something still drew you here. 50 of you still chose to sign up for this. Tuning in, was it something you felt in your body that was just a yes, or was there something specific that drew you in here? All right, that's 1 minute. Milena looks like she's typing. Laura looks like she's typing. Amazing. So, Be the Art. Be the Art. I'll read your answers when you're done, so take your time. Be the Art for me really means moving through the world as an expression of truth, of beauty, of divinity, of what's on the inside. It's really giving yourself that permission to express the different faces of the feminine in the way that you be out in the world. So it could be in how you dress and what you choose to wear, how you're cooking your meal, the songs you're playing, the way that you walk, how you dance, how you flirt. It's really this extension of your soul. It's not just making art. The feminine artistry is who she's being out in the world. So it is being that muse, the masterpiece, the art, all of it, the artist, right? And captivating attention and recognition for who you really are. So that's how, ooh, I see some answers coming in. Be the art for me represents creating more space in my life for creativity, pleasure, and sensuality again, my feminine, after a long season of really having to rely on my masculine. This is so real, right? Like, this is exactly what it's about. We live in this world where it's very linear, and we don't often make time for art, right? We don't often make times for ourselves to really express that. So I love that you're here for that, because that's my world, right? That's what we do here. We create spaces to really drop into the feminine. To be honest, I was just looking for being in one of your container again after last program, but I feel into it now. Be the Art is about being an inspiration, the way, and live and honor life. Yes. Sometimes I feel guilt for indulging in so much goodness and ease and joy, and I want to release the guilt and just be an inspiration for whoever resonates with it. Yes, Milana, that's been such a big part of your journey, is like letting yourself just be this like ball of joy and like beauty and inspiration. And that's another part of it, right? A lot of the times we have the resistance of like, oh, someone's going to judge me, or I don't know how to like be this version of myself. But for you, you have access to it. And it's like, can you trust that the other person can receive it as well? And opening yourself up to receive it. And it's been so beautiful witnessing your journey. Like, oh my God, like all the magic that's been coming into your life, and the love and the success, and just the way you've been listening and trusting yourself. So yeah, I'm so happy to have you back in the space, and yeah, to see what's here for you today. Because of course, if you're here, there's something that called you, and there's something very specific for you. It's never random. So yeah, thank you for listening to your body and to that yes. So yeah, that is Be the Art, right? And we're all going to have different interpretations of it, because there's so many types of art, and there's so many different relationships we have to art. But for me, it really is similar to what you're all saying. It's this weaving of beauty and like expression. And I love to bring archetypes and play into your being, into the way you're connecting, into the what you're eating, into how you're moving, right? So it's bringing this sacredness to life as well. You know, there's this depth, there's this sacred, there's this honoring, like you said, Milena. And to me, it's also letting yourself feel everything and using all of that, like the messy, chaotic truth, like all your emotions, to be the raw material for the way that you're expressing and what you're creating, like your poetry, your song, your dance, like in intimacy in the bedroom, right? Your offerings to the world. It's really accessing that and letting it come through, letting it be part of your identity expression and what you're creating and offering to the world. And being the art is also, so because you know there's this like truth, like when you're creating art, it's like, oh, you go into the depths. So there's that aspect of it. And then there's also like just being relaxed in who you are and trusting that you'll be met in that you don't need to control or grip. Milena knows all about this. Yes, we've been doing this a lot in Sacred, the last program. It's like really releasing and trusting and letting your feminine lead you. So ultimately, when you be the art, this is when it's from that relaxed state, from that creative state. This is when you're attracting the people also that can really meet you in that, right? It's attracting the men that can meet you in those standards, that really honor you and value you. So it's also holding yourself as that queen, right? Like before you even have the proof, before you have the milestones, it's the way you're walking through the world and giving yourself permission to take up that space, right? So, VDR. The last thing I also wanted to say about this before we dive deeper is art is not necessarily understood by everyone, right? And this is what I love about it. Welcome. We have more people hopping in. So it's you're also, as the art, you have to understand that art is not always understood. Trusting that it's appreciated and adored by art connoisseurs, right? It's not necessarily everyone. So that's something that I've been really embodying and trusting. It's like, I'm not here to please everyone. You're not here to please everyone. And this is really key, because the women that are attracted to the Gravity Rose world, that are attracted to my work, like, you're not the masses, you're not the mainstream, you know, you're very deep, you're probably sensitive, you're probably a bit of a rebel, you know, you've been standing apart in your life. Laura, I know you really resonate with this when I've talked about this on Instagram, right? You're like, yep, that's me. And it's the woman who does things her own way, right? Like, you've probably gone through a lot of challenges in your life. You probably had like a dark phase. You know, a lot of women that work with me, like, they tell me about their past. They're like, yeah, I was depressed, or I had anxiety, or I was called too sensitive or too much. You know, there's always this story of like almost darkness, and that's my story. So of course we attract, you know, what we are. Like, I was very different in the past. I was very like armored, very closed off. I was using alcohol to like liberate myself, and expression was the hardest thing for me. And then of course this is what I offer to the world. But these are also the women that I attract. Like, you felt you couldn't be yourself, and you often maybe thought it was something wrong with you, instead of realizing that it was your superpower, it was your gift. You have something so deep and beautiful and powerful to offer this world, and it's just the world that doesn't get you, you know. So just like art. So, and you're so smart. Like, the women that like are attracted to this, it's like, you're deep, you're smart, you're brilliant, you know, and you've likely worked really hard to create the success that you have, and you understand how to regulate, you know, you understand yourself really deeply. But now you're craving something more, right? So my world is not, we're not here to just like regulate and all of that. It's to deepen and expand into like the artistry, right? So you're craving intimacy, deeper intimacy. You're craving that connection. You're craving to be more connected to your creativity and your art, you know, your actual art, because you're all artists, you're all creatives. Like, I know, Laura, you're an artist, you know, you work in the art world. I know, Milena, you're a poet, you write poetry, like, you dance. Like, we're all natural artists, right? And if you're here, you're likely ready to take up more space, you're ready to take up that stage. And also, what's different about this space is it's not about just being loud for the sake of being loud and being like, here, everyone, look at me. There's a different texture to the women in my world, to you if you're here. It's like, it's this embodiment, it's this knowing. It's like, you don't want to fight for attention, you just really want to be felt, right? It's this like, you get to be appreciated and seen and felt and make that impact without performing for it, right? Without fighting for it. And that's the deeper feminine identity that's wanting to come through. It feels like poetry in motion, right? It's like, this relaxed expression that is just this ease in your body, and it's just felt, and you're creating in flow. And so how does that feel already? Are you feeling like the yes to this? Yeah, you can write in the chat or just yes. So yeah, if you feel like typing in there's something really good about claiming the yes when you resonate with something. So invitation to drop that in the chat, or be like, yes. I was watching a movie last night. I never watch movies, and the man was saying like such beautiful things, and I was just like, yes. The Materialist, which is a very, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's a very it's like a movie about like dating and stuff. Anyways, very interesting. So yeah, claiming your yes. And so this vision, this version of you that exists, you know, you've already tasted her, you've already touched her. Like, I know that. And maybe some of you can like see her and feel her, but they're not letting themselves fully step into that. A lot of the time, the reason is not that there's something wrong with you. It's not that you don't know how. Oftentimes it's like, okay, there's these protection mechanisms that are in the way, right? And that's the work that I do with women. It's like, how can we dissolve these walls, this armor that we've built up that's hiding our essence, that is hiding this trust in what's there. So I'd be curious if some of you find yourselves, and if you're catching the replay, also just tuning into this and journaling about it. Yes, so many yeses in the chat. Yay. What would you say? Is there anything that comes up that you find yourself maybe playing a part or hiding, or what's stopping you from really stepping into that version of yourself that is fully expressed. So already tuning into that, if you want to share in the chat, because oftentimes it can manifest as like even just outsourcing our power to the algorithm, finding where we're like, oh, I can't be my full self because I'm not going to get likes. And then you play another part to get the likes or to get the attention, right? It can come up in different places. And it's not necessarily in every aspect of your life, but you can still notice that there's probably going to be one space where you're like, ooh, okay, I'm hitting a wall here, right? Maybe you're waiting to be chosen by someone before you make the move, before, waiting for the permission slip to put yourself out there, to pivot your business or to put your art out into the world, whatever it is, right? Or to dress how you want. And oftentimes, something that I also notice is, you know, there is this desire to be all of ourselves in the world and to bring our artistry out. And there's like a deep, sometimes even more secret desire is that we want to be swept away in love. And even there, we don't want to fully let a man in. And we're holding back even our expression with men, right? And there is that desire to be like, oh, I just want to be all of myself. And can I be loved for all of myself, for my full expression? And the beauty is that the artistry piece, when you follow the path of artistry, it's like it actually creates more intimacy. So wanted to also bring that in here. So I'll keep an eye on the chat. Oh, the guilt to have so much goodness and to enjoy it when so many struggle and shit happens in the world and taking too much space with that vibe. Oh, already with that, it's like, that's exactly what the world needs, Like, does the world need more people like feeling sad? It's like art is actually what, as you felt at the beginning, just looking to some beauty in your space, like I saw your body just relax, and I saw your hearts open, just admiring beauty. So if you are the art walking through the world as that, it's giving people the opportunity. That's the impact of being the art, right? So it's trusting that. And of course we have all the resistance, and we'll go through practices, obviously Milena, but we do a lot of the alchemy practices in my container because it's very nice to have these visions and to have these desires, but we do have these walls. And through the emotional alchemy and the shift in the body, we can really rewrite those stories and create space for something new. So stepping into a new level of life and still getting comfortable here, letting people see me in an uninhibited way, where I'm still finding my confidence feels so raw and vulnerable. Yeah, and it's a journey, right? To like titrate into like feeling safe expressing. And I'll talk a little bit about the safety piece later, because that is, right, the foundation. It's really creating that safety within yourself. And then in the spaces that I offer is like we get to practice with other women before bringing it out into the world, right? So practicing accessing all of those expressions of the feminine so that you feel confident in it, you feel seen and held in it, and then you have the support of your sisters. You're like, yeah, this is beautiful, I love this part of me, you feel it in a visceral somatic way, and then you can go out in the world with it. But I totally hear you. But it's a beautiful place to be, right? Because you're leaning in. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, so there's all kinds of reasons why we're holding back, right? So still finding the confidence, having that fear of judgment. What are people going to think if I'm so big and so shiny? There could be, feelings of not enoughness, all of these stories that we carry. And one of the big stories too, especially when it comes to like being the art and being in your feminine expression, is that you think, oftentimes a lot of women might think that you have to be this like perfect version of you. A lot of the time it's like this idea of what it looks like. And just like art is not meant to be perfect. Art is meant to just make you feel something. So I want you to think of the art in your life that touches you, right? The art in your life that touches you, that inspires you. What kind of art do you love? So this is something to take a moment. I'll put a song for like a minute to really tune in to what kind of art you love. Maybe it's the medium, how it makes you feel, and one word to describe it. So, yeah, the fear that you'll be big and shiny and alone, and it's strange that it never comes to me that I'll be connecting with other women also big and shiny. Yeah, exactly. The more you're like that, it's like you attract what's like you. The more you let yourself be seen and felt in your truth, that's what it's going to resonate, right? With women who love that, with people who love that. Absolutely. So we're going to take a minute to tune in to your favorite art. Is it music? Is it painting? Is it dance? Like, what's a medium? What's a word to describe it? How it makes you feel. And when you're ready, you can share in the chat. You could share your one word or what kind of art it is, how it makes you feel. And there's no wrong answer here, right? It could also just be what today your favorite art is. All right, so I'll give you some time to keep writing. I'll share mine to begin. Maybe by the type of music you can see that I like. You know, if you've been in my world, or just what I've been playing today, I love drama. I love dramatic music, dramatic art. I love like songs that make me feel like life and death and like loss and romance all into one, where I'm like, ah, so intense. Like life is so intense. It's all of it and just this like emotion of this song. And like I like poetry like that. Like I love like movies that make me feel that. Like I love that intensity and that drama, right? And so it's interesting. Let's see the oh, expansive and free. Okay, beautiful. So expansive and free, and music that's vibrational. Okay. So this is interesting. So tuning in. So this frequency, this energy, ask yourself, are you moving through the world as that? Because what you love is what you are. It's an aspect of yourself, right? So the art that you're drawn to, it's an aspect of yourself. Are you giving yourself permission to embody that? Are you giving yourself, you know, and Milena, vibrational, like what does that mean to you? You know, like is it this like aliveness? Is it, so are you moving through the world as that? Is that something that you're bringing into your life? Like for me, for example, like I've really, it's funny, like I've really been reclaiming drama in my life. Like I haven't, it's not something that I really resonated with before, but actually in the last like 6 months, it's been something that's been coming up a lot. And I used to be really repressed as a child, and like I wasn't very, like I wasn't allowed to be expressed. So there is something here about reclaiming drama and being theatrical. And like it's so funny because this week even I had this moment where I was like, oh, here I am being dramatic and being the art. And it was I'll share the story. So basically, I have a friend living with me right now, and she was in the kitchen, and she comes up to me. I'm like just lying on the couch, and she's like, Sabrina, I'm so sorry. I cut your spaghetti squash. I thought it was mine, and I know yours are organic. Like I could have swapped you mine, but I know you have like your special fruit, like your nice vegetables and stuff. And she's like, oh, what do you want me to do? And I was just like, you cut my spaghetti squash. And I was like, oh, my heart, how dare you? And I just like fell to the ground, and I went into this Italian accent, and I was like, il mio cuore, how could you? You know, and I got really intense about it. And I fell onto the floor, and it was this big dramatic experience. And she was just like, dying of laughter. And like in that moment, I could have just said, oh no, it's no problem, don't worry about it. But like I allowed like life force to move through me and to like bring play into the moment, right? And so that was like me being the art, me bringing artistry and laughter and like aliveness to something that could have just been a moment like any other moment, right? And it just happened naturally. Like I've been really leaning into like my my expression in different ways, right? And so yes, being the art can be about like adornment and how you're dressing, but it's also like how you're living and how what you're bringing to each moment and how you're expressing things. And for me, the drama, because of like how I used to be, it feels really like this is almost like my edge of expression. Now I do it privately, but to be that way out in the world, like that's a side of me that like not everyone sees, like in my containers I bring it sometimes, but like in my relationships, my intimate relationships, but it's not something that I've really brought to the public, or to people I don't know that well. So that's my edge of expression. So I'd be curious for you, one, if you feel like tuning in, if you feel like you're moving through the world with that frequency of artistry, noticing that. And two, what is your edge of expression? Because when I was like starting my expression journey, I remember when I was younger, like just dancing in front of people sober was an edge, and I was like, oh, that's my edge. And then I got really comfortable with that. And then I got comfortable with posting my dancing online. And then I got comfortable. And then I was like, oh, my next edge of expression is dancing with a partner. So I started doing like contact dance and like Brazilian zouk and like exploring something that felt really edgy, because I was like, I can't dance with people. This is so scary. Like it was bringing up my intimacy moods and things like that, and like being seen in that with someone else. And then there's like it could be in the bedroom, like using your voice, like showing up online. Like now it's like, oh, there's this new layer of like of drama. When I was really, really young, my expression, because I was so shy, it came through my clothing. And that's how I expressed myself, right? Leaning in. So I was more like bold in that aspect because I was more repressed in the other aspects of my life. But it was like leaning into that edge. So where are you on your journey? We're all at different places, right? So for you, it might be in your dance, or it might be in your work, in showing up online, or in showing up in real life. I know for me, a long time, I was comfortable doing online workshops, but doing in person, I was like, oh shit, that feels scary, So that was another edge. So I'd be curious to tune in and write what edge you're at, like where's the, ooh, that feels like a little bit hard, or that feels vulnerable. Is there somewhere in your life that you'd like to expand into? It could be singing. That's one. That's a big one for a lot of people. Like that would be one for me. Like I sang in front of like 6 people once at one of my birthday parties in Costa Rica, and they were like, do it, and I was like, oh my God. But that was huge, right? So where is your edge? Or it could be reading your poetry in front of people. So I'd love to know that. And if you're catching the replay, making your little list, because this is important to know where you're at and where you want to deepen. It could be bringing your play out into the world, which is what I've been doing with the drama, And it's so funny because drama, like, has such a bad reputation, but drama is like reenactment, right? It's like bringing life. So you could also take something that maybe you were criticized for and realize, oh, there's a shadow side and there's a light side. Like, to me, drama, like, I love dramatic music and dramatic women that are like alive, you know? It's beautiful. So I had said this was going to be a short, I was like, I'm going to do a short workshop today, but we're going over. Um, there's just so much I want to share. And it's nice to be able to connect and take our time on the questions. Um, so yeah, ultimately, take your time with writing it. You could pop it in there when you're ready. Ultimately, it's about reclaiming your artistry, your creativity, your play. And one of the big pieces too is that there's this idea that, you know, a lot of women, we believe we have to be like soft and pretty and palatable and have the perfect body and the perfect nails and the hair and to be considered beautiful and desirable and to get noticed. But ultimately, it's like art just throws that all on its head and is like, art is just like, it makes you feel something. And that's the beauty. It's not its perfection. It's that it's alive. It's like, oh, there's an emotion to it. You know, if you look at art that's very just like perfect and there's like a staleness to it. Like, are you really pulled into it? Are you really feeling something? You know? And so for a woman, what does this mean? It means it's like your energy, like your life experience, the vitality, like the life force that you allow to move through your body. That's what makes you radiate, right? It's the relationship you have with yourself, with your creativity, with your body, with your feminine. That's what is making you magnetic. That's what draws are a match for you, right? So showing up online via video feels like an edge, holding the gaze of men I'm actually attracted to, letting them see my desire. Oof. Yeah. Feels really edgy right now. Yes, I love that example. That is so real, right? You're like super confident when you don't like the guy, and then you're interested and you're like, yeah. So I feel you on that. And that's a lot of like what we've been doing with, yeah, a lot of the core of my work, like what we've been talking about a lot in Sacred is like, how can you be the invitation and relax in the knowing of your worth without thinking you have to do that much, right? And just letting a man see you and hold his gaze and not think you have to do anything from there, right? So like building up that confidence and just like ease with just being seen. So yeah, that's really that's beautiful, and that is an edge for so many women. So like me included, it took me so long to just like let myself look at a man I was attracted to, you know. So yeah, thanks for bringing that. For me, it's an expression not through words, but through just my energy and my joy and letting people feel it. I'm comfortable with my partner, family, and close friends, but not with new people. Right, exactly. So it's like being able to access it when you want, in a sense, because it doesn't mean that you always have to be like, oh, like super open, because there is a part of discernment of like who gets access to your energy, right? And who gets access to that part of you. And being able to choose when you want to open access. So that's what it sounds like. So I love that. Um, yeah, super beautiful. So that's the work, right? And that's the practice is like the more we lean into it and the more we practice and get comfortable with it, the more we can bring it out into the world, because that's the point of doing all this feminine embodiment work and like partner practices and like coming to these spaces is like, it's not just information anymore, right? We want to feel it in the body so that we have the capacity to bring it to the relationship, to the online space, to the world stage. So yes, I love these. Um, let's see. And yeah, that's like a really big piece, I think, also when it comes to men. You know, there's this, I know that's also a big part of it. Like a lot of the women that come to me, like they are looking for a partner. I'm on that journey as well of calling in my men. And like, it's it's like there's a lot of these stories that we think we have to be a certain way, and we think we have to heal, and we think all this stuff, and then realizing that you get to be messy, and a man that really, like an embodied deep man, is gonna feel your energy. And it's not about the surface standards, it's about like, it is about like how you're able to express to him through your body and receive him and just be felt in that, right? It's like your feminine aliveness. So that's another, just being in, like being yourself, like being this delighted woman, like being the flower, you know, being the art. It's like that's what's gonna have him lean in, and then you don't have to do so much. You know, we think we have to do all this stuff, and it's really about that. So actually, I want to give an example of another client of mine, you know, because mine was like, I gave you the example of drama, right? But it's not always about even the outward expression. Sometimes it could be quite the opposite. Like, I'm on the journey of reclaiming drama, but other people, it could look differently. So I think she's gonna be catching the replay because she signed up to this. But so Milena, you know this story. So my client, she was at her birthday brunch with her man, and so she's eating the brunch, and he gets up to go take a work call, and it's her birthday brunch, right? So she's like on the edge of like, shit. She knows that a part of her is like really upset about it, and she's like, in the past, what she shared with us was like, in the past, I would have been like really angry. Maybe I would have been scrolling. I would have just been pissed off and like just waiting for him to come back so I could like argue and just call him out on being so rude on my birthday and like taking the call. And she said, okay, she remembered all the teachings from Sacred, and she remembered like, okay, being in my feminine energy. She let herself feel the annoyance, and she was just like, let me just be in this moment. Like, let me just like surrender to it and be present. And she said she was just looking around the restaurant and like enjoying it and taking it in and relaxing her body instead of being like angry. She put her phone down. She just tuned in to herself. And she started noticing a lot of stuff happening in the restaurant. She noticed this like older man with like what looked like his mother, and they were like just having a little, you know, their brunch too. And she just thought they were so sweet, and she just looked at them and she just smiled at him, and he smiled back, and she just felt really good in that moment. And so then her man came back, and they continued their brunch, and she didn't feel the need to bicker. She didn't feel the need to get upset at him. They just had a lovely rest of their date. And when they went to pay, the whole meal was covered, and she was like, oh my God, what just happened? And she looked around, and the man just winked at her. So the man that she had, you know, had that little moment of connection with, who was not hitting on her. It was nothing like that. It was just like a beautiful like acknowledgement of like, oh, she just liked their energy. She received in that moment like a cute gift from the universe, you know? And it was funny because, well, one, she was in a leaned back energy. She lit up the room just by being, right? She didn't have to do anything. She created this moment. She attracted this moment for herself by interrupting an old pattern, a protection mechanism of anger, relaxing, surrendering, understanding her partner. Maybe they had a little conversation about it, but it didn't turn into a big thing. And she was able to be. And so I laughed when she shared this, because she also shared how, you know, in my programs, I'll often say, like, when you're in your feminine energy, you do get free things. Like, the universe will send you stuff. People will gift you things. You'll have dinners paid. And Milena actually knows of this. Through the work we did together, she's just like, in 1 week, I had like a dinner date and someone cooked for me. And then this person paid for me. And it was like, whoa, you know, like almost overwhelming, like amount of like gifting, right? Like, full receptivity. And that is the power of the feminine. It's like when we just be the art, when we just be the flower, when we just be ourselves, like life wants to give to us. Like, we are designed, we are, we are the receptive pole, and we are designed to receive. So when we allow that, like, magic happens. So she said, when I shared that, my other client, she's like, I wondered if that ever happened for me. I was like, I don't know if that's ever happened in my life. And then a few weeks later, this story happened on her birthday. So it was just perfect, right? Perfect examples of what happens when you allow, when you surrender, when you do the alchemy practices, when you're able to embody your feminine in this way. This is what's possible. So for her, it was a more relaxed feminine expression. It wasn't the drama piece. So I just want to give you like examples of different textures of how you can move through the world as these different aspects and playing with these different energies, right? And this is also a lot of, even the new experience that I'm creating is each month we're going to have a new archetype, a new frequency that we're going to explore, and we're going to bring into the body in different ways, and we're going to alchemize the resistance to that so that we have access to all the different textures of the feminine. So maybe it is going to be drama one month, but it could be like different, just different. I don't know why what came to me was like even like housewife, which is something that not many people are like, oh, I want to be a housewife, but it just came through. I was like, what is that texture of like service and nurturing, so maybe she's going to come through. She wanted to come through. I just felt her. So that's something that maybe a lot of women have resistance to, right? Like, oh, can I be of service to my men? And like, how does that feel being the housewife, especially when we're empowered women, right? So what's there? And then we're able to access those energies in different ways. So yeah, that's the beauty of this work. It's not always about doing more. It's really about being more of who you are. And honestly, that's when, what Milena's saying too, is like when life becomes easier and more joyful is when you allow for that. Like all the opportunities I've gotten in my life, like, yes, I work hard and I do all of the things, but it's when I let go of the attachment to the outcome, when I'm just doing it from joy, from pleasure, when I'm letting that pleasure infuse everything, infuse how I show up, instead of it being like super hardworking, and it's just being who you are and even expressing online. That's how I got invited to like speak at festivals or podcasts or things like that. Like, I'm super shy, introverted, like that's my journey. So it's like actually being the art and being expressed, even as an introvert, allows you to magnetize opportunities and people that are really aligned with you without feeling like you have to put yourself out there in a really scary way, of like having to like go up to people and pitch yourself in that way. It's like, I'm going to create, I'm an artist, I'm going to be the art, and then my art is going to attract the people that really resonate with it, the art connoisseurs that are like, ooh, this is my style of art. Like, I want this, I want to be around this art. It makes me feel good. So, how are you feeling up to now? Is there a lot of yes in the body? Yeah. Okay, amazing. So always tuning into the body and how you're feeling and what's resonating. And then ultimately, so I think by now you probably see how being the art is such a gift to you, to those people around you. And there's a lot of reasons why women cage their feminine expression and, aren't stepping into that most liberated version. And so we've touched a little bit on those today. And what we're going to do in the next session on Monday evening is we're gonna drop more into that and do one of the alchemy practices. And ultimately, if you're feeling this and you're understanding the concept of be the art and you're feeling excited about it, like alchemy is the pathway to being the art. That's one of the really key pieces. So the like what I call my modality is embodied feminine artistry. And there are sort of like 3 steps to that, 3 stages. It starts what I like to call like the sacred sanctuary. So it's really coming home to your body, to your divinity, that relationship with the divine within you, creating that safety in your system. So that's what I was talking, what I said before, Laura, was, it is really important to have that solid foundation of safety so that the feminine does feel safe to express. So it is the relationship between your feminine and masculine. So I don't know if you've done the Holy Woman I feel like maybe I have sent it to you, the Holy Woman workshop. That's a really powerful one to start developing that relationship with the masculine and the masculine within you so that you feel solid, right? And, you know, Milena does nervous system work. So she's all about that, right? We're creating that sense of solid connection to your body and that safety in your system so that you can be more expressed. So that's like the foundational space. And then it's the alchemy, right? So once you have that connection with yourself, that relationship with yourself and the masculine and feminine within you, it's the alchemy, right? It's alchemizing the resistance, the walls that are keeping you from being able to fully express, because we have all these patterns and all these, from all the times we've been hurt as women, you know, all the times that we've felt like rejected or from childhood, all of this stuff. So we still carry those stories. And, you know, we all understand from the mind what that's about, but it's really through the body that it shifts. So we'll be doing that alchemy practice, a special one that I'm very excited to bring you on Monday. And then the final stage is really this kind of like artistry atelier, this like, it's like the studio space. So it's where we practice, right? So this is the spaces I love to create. It's like, it's not just, yes, there's a solo practice in the body, but then it's like, can we practice with other women? Can we practice being seen so that our nervous systems actually feel safe in that? You know, we're wounded relationally. So it's like, how do we heal that fear? You know, you were talking about wanting that confidence to be seen in that. It's like, well, we practice with each other, and that's where the magic happens and the confidence comes, because it's not just like a new thing. You know, it's like, if you're with your man in like the bedroom and he's like, and you want to be like this free expressed version, like how scary is that if you've never accessed that part of you on your own or in front of anyone else? Now you're in the most vulnerable space of like intimacy, or on the dance floor, wherever feels vulnerable for you. And it's like, okay, go. It's like going on stage without practicing your lines, or going on stage without knowing like the context. It's just like, go perform. And you're like, oh, fuck, this is a lot, you know? So that's where we practice. And there's also like creative constraints. Like I'm really big on containers. So even when you're making art and you have a blank page, what the hell do I write about? But if you have creative constraints, like I just gave to one of my clients, I was like, okay, so you have to create, she wants to create an Etsy shop. And I was like, okay, so pick one quote. You have 1 week, and this is the theme that you're gonna create around. So she has these constraints now, and she's like, okay, like now I can create. I have a direction. I have containment to let my feminine come through. So that's also the purpose of having these spaces, is to have, you know, receive that guidance. Even in poetry, you know, when I give little poetry workshops, it's like there's a theme, I give you the first line, I give you like the concept, and then people create like magic. Like it's insane what I've seen people create in like a 20-minute little like poetry workshop, you know? So that's one of the really important parts of this journey as well, to like really let that come through for you. So that's sort of that's the journey of embodied feminine artistry. And obviously I offer that in my one-on-one 3-month journey. So if that's for someone who really wants to go deep, if if any of you that are watching resonated with this, it's like, okay, and you want that support one-on-one, like I do offer that. I have a spot for the fall. But I am also very excited to announce that I am opening up a temple of feminine arts. So it's going to be an online space that's ongoing. And we're going to be having these sessions, these practices where there's going to be the archetype that we're bringing into the body, that we're understanding the mythologies behind it, the storytelling, all of that delicious, like feminine, like learning in the feminine way through story, through understanding the frequency of it, you know, the divine feminine aspect of it, bringing it into our lives and seeing how it plays out, having spaces to share, and then having that container of practice where we alchemize the resistance, we bring it into the body, and we practice with each other, right? So I love to do partner practices. I'm a facilitator. This is like what I do in person, where people have the most insane breakthroughs, what we did in Sacred. So that's going to be an ongoing space for women to come and practice and be part of this community of like deep feminine women that are here to be the art and to fully express in this deeply feminine way. So that's the new offering that I'm super excited about, that I'll be sharing more details in an email. But if anyone's watching and feels the yes, like reach out, we can talk about it more. I will be offering you all like the founder's rate for that, for this space, for those of you that are in Be the Art. And it's going to be an ongoing container where you get access to Sacred, you get access to a lot of my programs when you're in it. And yeah, it's just going to be this very alive space for women. And yeah, it's never going to end, because that's something that Milena had mentioned too. She was like, oh, like a lot of my clients are like, the only part I didn't like was that it ended, you know? So I was like, okay, I'm going to receive that feedback. And even for me, I was like, I want an ongoing space where we're in this energy together, like all the time. So that's the newness that's coming through, that's been brewing behind the scenes. So you're all invited to this space. I'll be sending out more details. And then for next session, tune into that resistance that came up for you. Whatever it is that you're working on, that edge of expression. So allowing it to simmer. We have a couple of days before the next alchemy session. So you could really bring that thing that you want to be working through, that you're like, ooh, I feel the stickiness here. So we're going to bring it into the body, alchemize it. And this is the practice that literally when Milena did, like, I remember you came back like 2 weeks later, you're like, yeah, like I have 8 new client signups. I have 5 more that are on the wait list. It was just this like flood, and like all these new female friendships. I know you had wanted that, and you were like, I don't know what just happened, but it just all came in. On your birthday, you announced it. It was so beautiful, you know? So like, it's really powerful, because what you realize when you do these practices, it's like everything you want is orbiting around you, and it's literally us that are like, no, we're like holding up the wall. But once you like move the wall, it's like, oh, there we are. The magic is just flooding in. So, and it happens at a different pace for everyone. So it's like, there's nothing wrong with you if it's not like instant, but there's a lot of instant magic that actually happens when we just allow. So yeah, so I'm really excited for that. I think that's it for today. Feels very beautiful and powerful to have you all here. And if there's one word that you're walking away with from today, I'd love to hear it in the chat. Just tuning in to how you felt when you came into this space. Maybe you didn't know what you were coming for, what you're walking away with, perhaps, how you're feeling now. You tuned in at the beginning, how you're feeling. Taking a moment, how do you feel now? Inspired and open. Yes. That's the vibe. Walking through the world as that is so magnetic. So motivated. Ooh, I like that. I wonder what you're motivated for. Amazing. All right. So thank you so much. I'll be sending out some more details of everything and offers and for the call next Monday. But it was so beautiful to have you all here. Thank you for your energy. So taking a deep breath, landing into your body, taking back your energy from the space, thanking yourself for being here today, for taking the time. And allowing yourself to move through the art today, as the art today, through the world as the art, whatever that looks like to you. Maybe bringing in that texture, the vibrational, the expanded and free, and any other flavors you've been wanting to, that you love, letting it come through you this weekend. All right. Thank you, my loves. See you soon. Bye.